Celebrities in a nutshell.
Simon and Garfunkel, the harmonious voices of a generation. Welcome to Celebrities in a Nutshell, where we explore the lives and legacies of the greatest artists in music history. Today, we're diving into the story of one of the most iconic duos of all time, Simon and Garfunkel. With their poetic lyrics, harmonic precision, and timeless songs, this legendary pair helped shape the sound of the 1960s and beyond. From their humble beginnings as childhood friends in Queens, New York, to their meteoric rise to fame and eventual breakup, Simon and Garfunkel's music continues to resonate with listeners across generations. Join us as we explore the highs, the lows, and the lasting legacy of Simon and Garfunkel. Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel's story begins long before the fame and fortune. Back in 1953, when they were just two kids growing up in the middle-class neighborhood of Kew Gardens Hills in Queens, New York. They met in elementary school and quickly bonded over their shared love of music. By the time they were teenagers, they were performing together, influenced by the rock and roll sounds of the Everly Brothers and Buddy Holly. In 1957, they adopted the stage name Tom and Jerry and released their first single, Hey Schoolgirl. The song was a minor success, reaching number 49 on the Billboard charts. Though it wasn't a major hit, it was enough to earn them a spot on American Bandstand and a glimpse of the music industry's potential. But after this initial taste of success, the duo went their separate ways to attend college. Paul Simon to Queens College and Art Garfunkel to Columbia University. It seemed like their music careers were over before they had even begun. The early 1960s saw the rise of the folk music revival, with artists like Bob Dylan, Joan Baez, and Pete Seeger leading the charge. Inspired by this movement, Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel reunited in 1963, this time performing under their real names. They began to write songs that reflected the political and social turmoil of the era, blending Simon's introspective lyrics with Garfunkel's ethereal voice. In 1964, they released their first album, Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m., which included a little-known track called The Sound of Silence. Initially, the album was a commercial failure, and the duo once again considered going their separate ways. But fate had other plans. Unbeknownst to Simon and Garfunkel, their producer, Tom Wilson, took the acoustic version of The Sound of Silence and added electric guitars and drums, in line with the growing popularity of folk rock. The new, electrified version was released as a single in 1965, and it was a massive hit. The Sound of Silence shot to number 1 on the Billboard charts, and suddenly, Simon and Garfunkel were thrust into the spotlight. With their newfound fame, Simon and Garfunkel quickly got to work on their next albums. In 1966, they released Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme, which included hits like Scarborough Fair/Canticle and Homeward Bound. The album was a critical and commercial success, cementing their place in the folk rock scene. Their ability to blend traditional folk elements with modern, socially conscious lyrics resonated with the turbulent times. Songs like The Dangling Conversation and A Poem on the Underground Wall showcased their introspective, poetic style. But it was their 1968 album Bookends that truly captured the zeitgeist of the 1960s. With Bookends, Simon and Garfunkel explored themes of aging, identity, and the American experience. Mrs. Robinson, originally written for the film The Graduate, became a massive hit and won them a Grammy Award for Record of the Year. Songs like America and A Hazy Shade of Winter further showcased Paul Simon's brilliant songwriting and the duo's unmatched harmonies. In 1970, Simon and Garfunkel released what would become their final studio album together, Bridge Over Troubled Water. The album was a commercial juggernaut, selling over 25 million copies worldwide and winning 5 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year. The title track, sung primarily by Garfunkel, became an anthem of hope and comfort during a time of social unrest. It was a song that transcended generations, and it remains one of the most beloved songs in popular music history. The album also featured other hits like Cecilia, The Boxer, and El Condor Pasa, If I Could, displaying the duo's versatility and willingness to incorporate diverse musical influences. But despite the album's success, tensions between Simon and Garfunkel were growing. As their fame grew, so did their creative differences. Garfunkel had begun pursuing an acting career, starring in films like Catch-22, while Simon was increasingly focused on songwriting. Their personal and professional differences eventually led to their breakup in 1970, not long after the release of Bridge Over Troubled Water. After the breakup, both Simon and Garfunkel embarked on solo careers. Paul Simon quickly established himself as a successful solo artist, releasing critically acclaimed albums like Paul Simon, 1972, and Graceland, 1986. His ability to fuse diverse musical styles, from folk to African rhythms, set him apart as one of the most innovative songwriters of his generation. Art Garfunkel also found success as a solo artist, with hits like All I Know and his album Angel Clare. Though his solo output was not as prolific as Simon's, Garfunkel's voice remained one of the defining sounds of the era. Despite their differences, Simon and Garfunkel reunited several times over the years, most notably for their 1981 concert in Central Park, which drew over 500,000 people. The concert was a massive success and reaffirmed their status as one of the greatest musical duos in history. Simon and Garfunkel's influence on music cannot be overstated. Their ability to blend folk, rock, and pop, combined with their introspective lyrics and harmonic perfection, has inspired countless artists across generations, from James Taylor to indie folk bands like Fleet Foxes and the Lumineers. Songs like The Sound of Silence, Bridge Over Troubled Water, and Mrs. Robinson have become enduring standards, covered by artists in nearly every genre. Their music spoke to the anxieties and hopes of a generation, and it continues to resonate with listeners today. Over the years, Simon and Garfunkel have received numerous accolades, including induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1990 and a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2003. Their contribution to the evolution of folk rock music is undeniable, and their legacy will continue to endure for many years to come. Simon and Garfunkel may have been together for only a brief period, but their impact on music is timeless. From the streets of Queens to the stage of Central Park, their journey is one of friendship, creativity, and the power of song. Though they may have parted ways, their music lives on, continuing to inspire and comfort millions of fans around the world. Thank you for joining us in celebrating the life and legacy of Simon and Garfunkel. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more explorations of influential figures in music and culture. Let us know your favorite Simon and Garfunkel songs or albums in the comments below. Until next time, keep the passion for music alive.